Welcome back, everybody, to Let's Talk About Sleep. Let's talk about sleep. Amazon link to that is in the description box down below. Here we are, part 3 of 3 for this month's or last month's Q&A. So again, thank you for everybody who participated and keep them coming. And as I always say, these videos are for education only. So with that being said, let's go on to number 3. Okay, so on my sleep inertia video, writes, when I wake up, everything feels like new, or I've never been here before, like my pillow. I started thinking, what is this thing? Like my pillow, I started thinking, what is this thing? If you know something, please let me know. That doesn't really sound like anything that I've heard of. It could be that you could actually be having sleep inertia, where it kind of you sleep and you wake up and you almost like you're still asleep. That could be. I would definitely get a sleep test or a sleep evaluation and see if anything comes up. The other possibility is, could it be a seizure, a nighttime seizure? That's something you definitely would have to get looked into. So hopefully you get evaluated and, you figure that out. Clint writes on my recalled CPAP masks, general CPAP question. If you don't have sleep apnea, will using a CPAP give you any added benefit anyway? Like will it make you better than well? Good question. There's no evidence to support that though. If your airway's open, your airway's open. But good thought. On my temazepam video, becoming a Pegazabricorn, I think I'm saying that right, wrote, it's a long thing, but basically, so they say, can you discuss how to get more restorative sleep? My first study showed decreased slow wave and REM sleep, as well as increased REM latency. Yeah, during a sleep test, I always tell patients that we take that with somewhat of a grain of salt. Okay, because you're in a bed you've never been before, you're covered in wires, your brain is not going to allow itself to get as deep a sleep as it normally would. So a reduced amount of delta wave or slow wave sleep and REM sleep, that does happen. Okay, and increased REM latency, same thing. They're pointing towards narcolepsy or IH. Well, if that's the case, for sure, if either narcolepsy or idiopathic hypersomnia come through as diagnoses, that would definitely explain unrefreshing sleep. My sleep hygiene is good, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we'll keep that up. A second unrelated question, what would cause a person's heart rate to be higher when they sleep than when they are at rest during the day? My heart rate at night is usually in the upper 70s. During the daytime, it's in the low 60s. When I nap, it's in the low 70s. Yeah, that's a good question. What can happen is if there is any sleep apnea, if there is any... for example, if you go to bed with anxiety or if there's pains or so, anything like that can disrupt your sleep can raise up the heart rate. It's almost as if like you're exercising in the middle of the night when, of course, you shouldn't be. So I'd be curious to see what your sleep test showed, because that could explain why you're having these recurrent episodes where the heart rate would go up. But of its own accord, in a normal situation, you're right, the heart rate comes down, the blood pressure comes down. All those things happen whenever you're asleep, whether it be a nap or an overnight sleep period. So definitely points to maybe something going on either physically or mentally during your sleep. So hopefully you get those things figured out. But narcolepsy definitely is a potential for somebody to have disrupted sleep and to have unrefreshing sleep. So thank you for the question. DM writes... also on my temazepam video, I wish there was a benzo alternative for nighttime disorder with a good evidence base. Well, there are plenty of medications out there for sleep and insomnia. The question is, what's the right one for you and what's safe long term? Okay, so almost anything can be used in a short-term basis. Like if you're somebody who, let's say, has a cyclical situation where, they sleep well for, 9 months out of the year, and then there's a period, maybe the winter time where the sleep is not good. Maybe I'll make a video on that, seasonal affective disorder. But let's say there's a time when the sleep is not good and you want to use something during that period of time. That's an option for you as well. But you always want to think about things. All right, is this safe and can it work? And there are plenty of options out there. I like trazodone. Not everybody does. But thank you for that. Luke writes, I wish here in Australia the doctors would prescribe something other than melatonin. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how medicine is practiced in Australia, but it's probably very similar to here in that there's a lot of downsides. Just like I was saying previously to the previous question, there's a lot of medications out there for sleep, and if you use them here and there, it's not a big deal. But if you're using them chronically, then people start to get concerned. For years and years and years and decades, taking something like ambien, for example, is not the best thing in the world. So, I think doctors are a little gun shy these days, and that's why something like melatonin can be, or is thought to be used as a more chronic aid. So, but like I said, if it's a chronic problem, it's not getting better, and other things have not worked, a sleep test might be helpful. And then Clint's right, thanks. Oh yes, you're the one who asked about the diazepam, so thank you for the suggestion. Very, very good. Okay. And then the last comment / question for this month's video comes from Music Maker, and she writes, "I'm a lifetime insomniac, but since menopause it's gotten a lot worse. That's very, very common. Between my chronic pain issues, mental health issues, and now menopause, my sleep cycles are horrible, and my quality of life has decreased a lot." Yeah, unfortunately, that I've heard that many times. I've used ambien and lunesta in the past, which helped, but here the doctors are against them. Yep. My psychiatrist wants me to try quviviq, which I'll be starting tomorrow. This is a few days ago. And so in one of your videos you have reservations about it, but I'm desperate and won't try anything at this point. I'll have to give you an update. Yeah, it's not so much reservations in that I'm concerned that it is going to hurt somebody. I just don't know that it'll work, right? Based on previous experiences with similar medications. But listen, maybe it does work. I mean, maybe it's a perfect medication for you. Don't let my previous experience was with Belsomra and things cloud your desire to try this. Definitely give it a try. I will say this though. Starting quviviq and medications like that, it may take some time for kind of your body to get used to it so it works, right? So if it doesn't work on one night, don't give up. It may take a week or two or even longer for it to really kind of kick in. So hopefully they told you about that. But yeah, definitely let us know how you do. And that, my friends, is it for today and this month. So again, thank you for everybody who participated. Hopefully, if you asked a question, you got something out of it. If there are further questions, leave them in the comment section down below. Like I said, once a month we do this. And until next time, everybody, sleep well.